What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn. And today we're going to be discussing the most impressive rookie from Saturday's preseason week one matchup against Kansas City Chiefs, aside from Trey Lance, because that's just an easy choice. Matt, who stood out to you?
I'm going to go Deommodore Lenoir. He had an interception. I thought he played pretty good coverage all night. You're talking about a guy that was picked in like the 5th round. So, what are you actually expecting out of him? All accounts are that he's looked pretty impressive in camp, and he looks like he's going to be at least immediately, more immediately than Ambry Thomas to be a contributor. Ambry Thomas is working through some struggles in the game. He had an egregious hold that just was not called by the officials, so he kind of got away with one. He had some good plays too, but I think that overall Lenoir was just the more solid coverage guy. And, I wanted to say Trey Sermon, but, he looked good because Trey Sermon looks, again, to me like Tevin Coleman with like more wiggle and a little more burst. But I can't give it to him because he put the ball on the ground. So I have to go with Lenoir, who, got a turnover for the 49ers, and it was a decent start overall. On the play, his man had him by a step, but the ball was badly thrown. Tip drill, and Lenoir had the presence of mind to be able to take that in and intercept it when a lot of other DBs would have let that just kind of bounce off their hands or, not get it. We've seen it a ton of times, right? Where the DB has a surefire interception that they drop the ball and then you immediately see hands on helmet like this, like, oh God, I had it. But Lenoir was able to get it. So that was impressive to me. And I think that, outside of Trey Lance, who we all know was the star of the show, I think for me, Lenoir was the guy.
Okay, I like that answer, and hopefully for the 49ers' sake, he continues to build on that because they definitely need some young blood coming up in the secondary, especially at corner. For me, I'm going to go with Talanoa Hufanga. I thought the former Trojan was all over the field Saturday night. He was impressive, whether it was on defense or special teams. I know he had that, I think it was a PI call against Tyreek Hill where he just got there, attacked too soon before the ball, but he was still impressive to me. And I think that effort shows a lot when you're out there and just out competing and, out willing it more than the guys next to you who maybe, weren't drafted at a higher spot as well. The effort's going to show. It's the little things that kind of make the difference between the guys that end up not making the roster and that do end up making the roster. He might have already had his roster spot set on the final 53-man roster, but if not, Saturday night's performance did a hell of a lot pushing that forward and solidifying that roster spot more so. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. I know tons of people immediately want to make the correlation to Troy Polamalu since they're both I can't remember. Samoan. Yeah. I'm like, no, Samoan. Thank you. The hair he's got hanging out the back of his helmet. I don't think that that's the case at all, even though Troy Polamalu has shouted him out. I just think that he does have some skills that he can play in the NFL consistently. Yeah. And maybe not take over right away. But then again, the 49ers do have some secondary issues at the safety position with Jaquiski Tart and Tony Jefferson now both being injured for, the next foreseeable future, few weeks. Tony Jefferson the whole season, actually. So maybe Hufanga can take advantage and capitalize and seize the opportunity in front of him.
Yeah, I liked what I saw out of Hufanga as well. I know that he got baptized by Tyreek Hill on that jet sweep a little bit, and he wasn't able to keep Tyreek from gaining the edge. Typically on those plays, you want to force the guy back inside towards help defense, but he just didn't have the pure speed to keep up with Tyreek Hill, even though he had the angle. I think he overestimated his athleticism a little bit and didn't understand what real game-breaking NFL speed was, but he kind of learned, and you saw him grow in confidence over the course of the game. Very sure tackler. I love the way he tackles. He wraps up well. He hits hard too. He gets in there and he's not afraid to be physical. And I think that that's very important for this 49ers secondary. We see that a lot with Jimmy Ward. We saw it with Tart as well. And, when those guys go down, we're hoping that somebody like Hufanga can step up along with Tavon Wilson to give this team a lot of depth because we do need the depth at those positions. Again, we hammer on this all the time, but depth is something that's going to carry the 49ers throughout the season because every NFL team is going to have to deal with injuries, and it's how you weather those injuries that determine whether or not you're going to be able to carry through and make the playoffs or go to the Super Bowl, things like that. So it was very encouraging what I saw out of Hufanga, what I saw of Lenore. I think the 49ers have a couple of good draft picks on their hands and a couple of really solid contributors. So if that's going to be the case, and those are the guys that you have in depth for those positions, I think you can feel pretty good about that.
Kyle Shanahan was asked about him after the game at the press conference, and he said, quote, "I saw he made some plays today. I thought I saw a tackle on special teams, saw a couple hits on defense. I think he's getting better each week, and he's one of the guys I'm excited to watch how he played." So that's promising when the coach, is singling you out. I know he was asked about him, but still, I think Hufanga could develop into a starter for the 49ers. If not a starter, then definitely a significant role player and earn some minutes moving forward this season. Were there any guys who maybe honorable mention but didn't quite reach Lenore's status for you?
Yeah, actually, I mean, this is kind of cheating, but I want to shout out Jonas Griffith, who's technically not a rookie because he was an undrafted free agent who was on the 49ers practice squad last year. But he saw some game action, and he looked really, really good. So for his first NFL game action, I don't think that you can take anything away from him. I thought he brought fire. He brought passion. He looked really good. I know that's cheating a little bit, but I'm going to let it. I'm going to allow it. So
yeah, I'd allow it too. Yeah, I asked that question for Jonas Griffith because I wanted to shout him out as well. Technically not a rookie, but the asterisk is there over his name. I thought he looked really good, and just like Hufanga, his name was kind of being read by the Greg Papa and Tim Ryan the whole night because he was all over the place once he got in the field. I was impressed by him. I think he's somebody who could maybe start to work his way up on the depth chart. Obviously, not become a starter, but something promising still. Moving forward with Lenore and Hufanga, what maybe do you want to see out of them moving forward to prove that it wasn't just a fluke in this one game?
Consistency. I know that Hufanga is going to get a lot more special teams opportunities because he's a thumper, and I think that could be something where he has his bread and butter, even if he's buried on the depth chart between beneath a couple guys and he's not getting a ton of time in the secondary. That hustle in special teams is going to be very important. On the other hand, Lenore is going to get a lot more opportunities to play because there are more corner spots than there are safety spots, and there needs to be more corner depth, and he looks really good. I just think that those guys, as long as they can keep stacking positive plays, keep stacking good moments, and limiting your mistakes, which you're going to have because you're a rookie. Every player has mistakes. It seems to especially be true amongst rookies. But if you can limit those mistakes, stack the good plays, then you're going to get more playing time, and by proxy, you can stack more good plays. So they just need to build a solid foundation, build some positive plays, gain some confidence, and I think that they'll be able to contribute for this team.
Yeah, that's a really good breakdown. I think consistency is key, especially with rookies, rookies who weren't, first or second rounders that really need to carve out a role for themselves on this team. And Hufanga said it when he got drafted, I want to be a special teams Pro Bowler. Well, he started that journey last night, or Saturday night, I should say, and it was impressive. And I do think that that's something I want to see more of, maybe making your mark on special teams, maybe before on defense, because that stands out a little more to me.
Absolutely. That positive attitude and that willingness to do the dirty work is going to get you noticed by the coaches, and it's going to make you a favorite of the coaches. So I applaud Hufanga for having that attitude. And listen, I've known Samoans, and they're amongst the toughest SOBs that you'll ever meet. So I'm not surprised that that's his attitude.
Yeah, definitely not. With all that said, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's episode of Niners News. Hit that subscribe button. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give away a 49ers jersey. And also drop in the comments who impressed you the most, which rookie aside from Trey Lance, obviously, because that's the easy answer. Let us know.
Go ahead and smash that like button. Follow us on all our social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube. We love having you here. It's the end of another news day. So until next time, go Niners.